1970s was a contentious decade in the capital city. The Puerto Rican community was especially concerned about the conditions in neighborhoods like Hartford's South End.
There were many problems with the schools, with people moving in not having jobs, people not understanding the language.
When I came here in the 70s, we were trying to empower a disenfranchised Hispanic community, mostly a Puerto Rican community.
It was in this setting that Ivan Backer first started working in the community.
I was hired in 1969 by Trinity College to build some bridges between the college and the community.
Simultaneously, Hartford areas rallied together, otherwise known as HART, along with Backer started to also work with the Institute of Living and Hartford Hospital.
Because these three institutions, as you know, just about touch each other, and it made sense to join forces with them to try to do something positive in the neighborhood. It was out of those conversations that SINA was born.
Even though we were all in the same neighborhood, sometimes we didn't talk very often to each other. So SINA provided a vehicle for us to share goals, strategies, visions, priorities in a way that didn't exist.
And so we're kind of a link between these major institutions and this community and this neighborhood and the leadership of the community and the residents.
I think it's clear that psychologically a person is stronger if they have a good job, good home environment. And so that's all part of a healthy community that we want to be part of creating and maintaining.
And it's incumbent upon us to help each other and to cooperate and to use the limited resources that are available in seeing this vision that we all buy into become reality.
Early on, SINA identified areas of concentration, such as giving the community voice through Bob Pulowski's Southside Neighborhood News. Later, Backer, SINA's early executive director, would identify 4 areas of interest: housing, jobs and economic development, safety, and education, an area that the institutions, which now included the Connecticut Children's Medical Center, could lend its resources for the benefit of area high school students.
They were able to go and see what physical therapists really do. Most school systems never have an opportunity to do that. You can't get this out of a textbook. These resources from these institutions came out and gave those students a little extra to possibly plan their careers, their futures.
Teacher Bob Sample says the institution's contribution was priceless.
They saw it as an important part of this community to share and give something back to the community. To me, that says a lot. It says a lot.
We started a Scholar of the Month program where we recognized the most achieving students.
So if these kids are able to go to college and get an education and they come back to our community to work, again, that's a 50-year investment, easy, into the life of people who can come back and make a difference in this community.
To get those students to come back, Caban knows they'll need a vibrant economic community to consider returning to. And that's why SINA has partnered with groups such as the Spanish American Merchants Association.
SAMA is a good partner of ours. We try to coordinate as much as possible. We've worked together on a number of projects. Lastly, in terms of the streetscape, of redoing all of Park Street, sidewalks and streets and lamps, etc., from Main to Park Terrace, a length of 1 mile.
Streetscape, actually, it attracts more customers, more business to the area. We're trying to make this the Latino hub of New England.
Park Street as a retail corridor generates the most revenue of any retail corridor in the city.
Just as education and economic development are related, SINA believes economic development draws employment, which is why SINA started what some believe to be the best form of community development.
It's jobs, and that's a tremendous of value. It's the best social program.
Calixto Torres, through the Puerto Rican Forum, in partnership with SINA, has in the past helped solidify job training programming. But SINA officials contend that workers and neighborhoods must have a sense of security in both their personal safety and SINA's commitment.
I think longevity gives you credibility. It shows, like SINA, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to come in and abandon the people. SINA has not done that. I think SINA's been there. They're here for the long haul, and that instills confidence, that instills a sense of security in the community, and that's paramount. People need to feel safe, they need to feel secure, and they need to depend on something. I think SINA's dependable program, working hand in hand with the police department to build our communities and make them better.
Through the years, SINA has been blessed with dedicated board members and staff, some of whom have taken their mission to the entire Hartford community, such as current Hartford Mayor Eddie Perez. It was during Caban's tenure that SINA's transition to bricks and mortar began.
The community was saying we need more housing. We need housing for first-time home buyers, and we also need some rental housing, and especially rental housing for large families. The marketplace was not meeting that need, and we stepped up and said that SINA as an organization was going to have to get involved in this because it wasn't being done.
And it's important to stabilize communities and to stabilize neighborhoods to have vested residents in the community. So we focus on home ownership, and we've built upwards of 50 homes at this point with our partners.
One of the new homeowners is Ana Santiago, who came from Puerto Rico to Hartford to be closer to her family and was determined to one day own her own home.
I set up a goal to buy me a house. It took me long term, but I made it.
Santiago's fondest memory was when she was notified that her application and mortgage was accepted.
But when she told me that I get the house, eso fue una bendición. Sueños se hicieron realidad y que puedo estar tranquila porque en realidad, tú sabes, las rentas aquí en Hartford son bastante caras y tú estás pagando para ti. El programa de SINA ayuda a la persona de bajo ingreso. Te da la oportunidad de que, ¿sabe?, tenga una roca, como usted dice, para ti. Pues sí, cualquier cosa que me pase a mí, que esto es de ellos. Para probarse uno mismo que uno puede hacer las cosas, sí, tú puedes, porque cuando tú tienes sueños, tú los puedes hacer realidad.
SINA's Keystone project in Hartford's South End was the Learning Corridor, a $112 million schools development project which took an old city bus garage site and turned it into the jewel of the South End.
I think there's been a vast improvement. If you look at Park Street today, especially with the streetscape project and some of the very thriving businesses, it's a lot different than it was 40 years ago.
We've seen some very positive results in a number of different areas, just how people feel about living in a neighborhood, how people feel about working in a neighborhood. We contributed a building, a 24,000 square foot building to Mi Casa Family Services, Youth and Family Services, and help them develop the property into a huge youth, recreational, educational, and family facility right on Park Street. That's gotten incredible use, and it's really having a very, very good positive impact on teenagers in this community.
SINA's brick and mortar accomplishments have expanded to new buildings for the Girl Scouts, the Boys and Girls Club, and even a joint effort with Trinity to build an ice skating rink.
It's great to go and see all the kids from the community on the ice skating, learning, and tipping over and falling and laughing.
I think that this neighborhood, anyone that came here 15 years ago and came here today, night and day. New homes, new institutions. That building behind us was an apartment building run down, no parking places, major changes.
I hope that the residents here find it congenial, can find work, can find schools that work for them, build a sense of neighborhood. And I hope that this provides also a good environment for the institutions.
We want to make sure that we focus on the quality of life stuff, which, you know, if a community is vibrant and if a community is healthy, it's those little things that, that will maintain it and make sure that in the next few years there'll be people all over the country talking about wanting to move to Hartford.